Mr. Shashi Tharoor called me when I filed my nomination and congratulated me. I told him that there should be a consensus candidate. This is what Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge just said at his press conference, and we are at his residence Pallavi today, just after his
Navratra
press
thali
conference
also.
concluded and having special Navratra food.
That is
Mr.
because
Kharge has
lazy
organized.
Aman wanted to beat the queue.
So we're having nice Navratra food and some important news points there, I think, by
Yeah.
Mr. Kharge. One that he implored Mr. Ramesh to maybe step out of the race and let's have a consensus candidate, but Mr. Tharoor, wants a contest. So that is one news point I think which emerged from this Pallavi. Also other points where he said that many of his well-wishers and many of his friends actually encouraged him to file the nomination because the Gandhi family is not fighting. What
But
do you
Aman,
make of
don't you think it I mean, maybe not so much, maybe here you can argue, but otherwise in the last 2 to 3 days, it appears very orchestrated. There seems to be a method in the madness, that chaos we all are thinking, it seems very scripted. That one you teach a lesson to Ashok Gehlot, he's not contesting, doesn't matter, then you look for the right person, and he clearly is the chosen one. Because you know, when I went to cover the nomination also, Tharoor pretty much walked in on his own. And there's Karti Chidambaram, Sandeep Dixit, ye log sab the. And I remember we were not given details of his nomination. But today you see the media department is here. Jairam Ramesh is here. It's very clear that officially the party is backing him. So don't you think the BJP's argument that a chosen one will be chosen is correct or proves correct?
Well, at least Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge is not saying that he's the official candidate. When the question was also asked to him, he said the delegates will decide, and the Gandhi family is neutral in a way in this election. That's what Mr. Tharoor has also said. But clearly, if you see the nomination papers, if you see the kind of people who have signed on Mr. Kharge's nomination paper, clearly G23, even the other leaders and the people who have signed on Mr. Tharoor's nomination, led by Karti Chidambaram. So I think the difference is very clear, that where does the establishment weight in this election lie, and who is basically going to be weighing in favor of whom. But I think one important point which I feel in this election, that one question was asked to Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge today, that what will you do the first when you become the president? What's your priority? So he skirted that question saying, "Pehle mujhe jitaiye to sahi, uske baad main darunga." But in contrast, I think Mr. Tharoor has come out with a full manifesto. He has a plan, and he has laid out that plan in the public. So clearly, I think Mr. Tharoor's nomination to me seems a more thought-out nomination.
Very systematic.
Some effort has gone into the whole thing. He's maybe worked on it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then then put out the entire vision. And that is, I think, something that he is banking on also.
Yeah.
Because he's telling the people that listen to my ideas. I want to change the Congress. Something that Congress desperately needs. While Mr.
I mean, his tagline is "Stand for Change, Stand for Tharoor."
Think Tharoor.
Yeah, think Tharoor. And yeah, you're right. I mean, even if he loses, clearly the numbers are in favor of Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge. And still, in a loss, he manages to prove a point.
Exactly. So I think what goes in Mr. Kharge's favor also is that because he's a senior leader, because maybe he has that respect in the party, Pallavi, maybe there's a better chance for Mr. Kharge to bring together the party together, the various factions together, which Mr. Tharoor may not succeed in, for whatever reasons. Like somebody today, Mr. Gehlot, I think, called him an elite leader.
And in fact, one of the persons who was sitting next to Mr. Kharge, I think he's just left, Gaurav Ballabh. I remember the first day when Tharoor confirmed that he's going to become the presidential candidate, he did say that what has Tharoor done apart from writing that letter, the first letter to G23 when Mrs. Gandhi was in hospital, and he was reprimanded for that. Jairam Ramesh came down with a very strong statement. But that just goes on to show the kind of narrative. And also Kumari Shelja tells me it's in the fitness of thing that Tharoor should withdraw. I think he's going to be made out slowly to be a bad guy. I mean, beach mein the Congress will show those jerks and will say, no, anyone can contest. But clearly they would be happy if Shashi Tharoor withdraws from the fight.
But I don't think Shashi Tharoor is going to...
No, certainly his mood doesn't seem to be one.
I think all these talk which goes on, I think it's going to make his resolve even stronger to contest. And I think he should contest. Even Mr. Kharge said that he did implore Mr. Tharoor that a consensus candidate should emerge. But when Mr. Tharoor said he wants to contest, he said so be it. So, he called him his younger brother, and let us contest. But I think what Tharoor is bringing to the table, also some ideas, I think, which the Congress should, take a cue from. It's a good manifesto. I went through
2024.
Yeah,
that's something which they should incorporate.
That should incorporate, and that is also the younger look of the party. And I think, but Mr. Kharge, I think, has a bigger job here at hand, given he wins, which is expected.
I think the biggest problem that the Congress also faces, which something he'll have to deal with, is the fact that diminishing returns of the Congress party. They are, for example, Aam Aadmi party, which is coming up in a big way, which is eating into a Congress party. many allies or many opposition parties don't want to do business with Congress party. Maybe Kharge, because of his stature, decent good equations he had with other political parties, he would have. I mean, the reason why he was also chosen as an LOP was also precisely this reason, right? Because they felt that he could talk and others. Which brings us to the next question. Agla LOP कौन? दिग्विजय सिंह का नाम चल रहा है. प्रमोद तिवारी.
Pramod Tiwari, you never rule out Pramod Tiwari.
No, I won't. I mean, he's pretty shrewd, very wily. Also, very good equations with at least a Hindi heart-built kind of political party.
But I think maybe Mr. Digvijay Singh would be given a chance given he dropped out of this race. So, maybe like a compensation. And he's a fiery leader. He's
a fiery leader. But he's a very controversial one. And also, I don't think he has too many friends to negotiate with in the BJP as well. I mean, Pramod Tiwari, good equations with BSP, SP.
Yeah.
And also, we all know this about Mr. Kharge. He comes from the south. They also want a Hindi heartland face. I mean, that's where Digvijay Singh comes in. But that's where also Pramod Tiwari comes in because he has good equations with people in the Hindi heartland parties as well. So, will that work in his favor?
Tell me something, Pallavi. Will the Bharat Jodo Yatra also become like a campaign tool now? Whoever is going and joining Rahul Gandhi in that walk gets more traction amongst the Congress delegates?
I mean, I know this, but there's a huge fight at Con joins the Yatra, but more than that, who's seen standing next to Rahul Gandhi? Did you see those pictures which we put out from Karnataka? You had a DK Shivkumaria and Siddaramaiah.
Yes.
Very clearly, you saw that, right? Yeah. Jostling for space, who will be closer to him. And in fact, Sonia Gandhi is going to be going there on 6th. She's going to join the Yatra. She's going to walk for a bit. That's going to be important. And Priyanka Gandhi Vadra. I think she's also trying to prove a point to the seniors. If I can do it, then why should you not? Remember, she said that at the Udaipur conclave that I would also try and join. Karnataka, I think, is also the reason why she's chosen is because there the response has been very, very positive and very good crowds they have been able to. I mean, you were talking about this. The challenge begins after this.
It's a strong state.
Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, in sab jagah pe.
I think Karnataka is perhaps the state where the Congress is strongest right now.
Yeah, in terms of organization also.
Organization, they have good leaders in DK Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah.
And they have local leaders. The regional leaders are very strong there.
So, apart from like Rajasthan situation right now where there is only Mr. Gehlot who seems to be the leader and the party below that seems a bit of a shambles, but in Karnataka I think that is not the case. Also, Pallavi, briefly before we end, I think what Mr. Gehlot said today is very interesting.
Very important.
I don't think Mr. Gehlot is going anywhere, it seems from his...
Yeah, I mean that's what my party sources are telling me, that we are now no longer in a hurry to have a CLP meeting. We'll take our own decision. We want क्या ठंडा होना देना चाहते हैं वो एक दो दिन को 4 दिन तो हो गए and वो ठंडा होना चाहते हैं विधायकों को and उसके बाद हमें कॉल लेंगे क्या करना है. But look at the way he was speaking today. He seemed to be throwing the ball in the court of without naming Ajay Makan, the observers.
Exactly.
And who let me down? He also seemed to be suggesting that there was a group which was actually conniving with the BJP to ensure that a one-line resolution does not take place.
Exactly. Very the point that he says that observers came and with a set mind and he was targeting Mr. Makan, and also he said that you ऑब्जर्वर्स को ये देखना चाहिए था कि इतने सारे एमएलएज ने बगावत क्यों की उसका कारण क्या है, वो क्यों रिपोर्ट में नहीं है. सो दैट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट मेड. एंड मिस्टर गेहलोत आई थिंक ऑलरेडी आई थिंक द इन्वेस्टर समिट is
those pictures are out beaming.
The advertisement is out and he's asking for suggestions for the budget from the people. I think Mr. Gehlot is going nowhere, it seems.
He must have been reassured also. I mean, there's a reason why he's getting his confidence, or maybe he's brazening it out. It's not going to be easy. This is something which we all have been reporting. It's not going to be easy for Mrs. Gandhi, or maybe she wants to leave this bad decision to the new Congress president. It's going to be a very unpopular decision either which way.
But I don't think Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, chosen the president, would take that call of sacking Mr. Gehlot a year before the election. I think it would be disastrous for the party in Rajasthan. I think Sachin Pilot will have to wait a bit more. Keep smiling and be patient.
Yeah, but then his supporters say, कब तक मैं मुस्कुराऊं और अपना दर्द छुपाऊं?
दर्द छुपाएं. और भी कई नेता हैं जो नहीं है यहाँ पे, पल्लवी कुछ नॉमिनेशन नहीं फाइल कर पाए, उनका दर्द का क्या हालत है?
कौन सा?
कोई और भी नेता हैं जो नॉमिनेशन
G23 I can think of.
हाँ, कोई नेता G23 से किसी ने नॉमिनेशन फाइल नहीं किया.
That's so interesting. And at the end of the day, I think the G23 looks very sad because they were the ones who are actually the ones who pitched for the organization elections. They are the ones who asked for transparency. And who do they go out and support? The official so-called candidate. And Shashi Tharoor was even dumped by them, even though he was a part of G23. But they're very upset with the G23, the rest of them. They're thinking,
because they wanted a change in status quo. Now, what does status quo change with Mr. Kharge, or does the man with ideas, Shashi Tharoor, is able to impress the delegates? We'll join you next week again with more happening on the Congress.
More food. His khana has gone thanda. I've managed to clear my plate. I think I was concentrating more on food and he was concentrating more on the khabar. But do give us your reactions on the social media timeline. And do keep watching us.
Aman and Pallavi signing off for Power Circuit this week.
Thank you so much.